They say that business is like a game, but building a company from El Salvador, that's playing that game in hard mode. And let me put you in context. El Salvador is the smallest country in the entire American continent. And I'm talking about small markets, I'm talking about small communities, and small ecosystems. When I started, there were not playbooks, there were not incubators, no accelerators. It was like literally the Wild West. No rules, no manuals. Even the concept of remote working didn't exist back then. I was working back then in a company that was selling virtual assistant services, but that planted an idea, a seed in my mind. Back then, I was working as a software engineer for a company that was offering services to the United States, and that planted a seed in my mind, an idea of a concept. The concept of nearshore didn't exist back then. We could offer services, software development services from San Salvador and export that across the world. Great news, that idea actually worked. When I decided to start my own company, I knew my biggest blocker and barrier wasn't actually the code, it was my language. So I made a decision every morning, 4 to 5 hours studying and practicing my English. I was studying like grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. I was in conversation classes on Skype. Yes, Skype was a thing back in the days because I was convinced that if I mastered this skill, it was gonna open doors for me. But here is the real first lesson I got. You cannot build a global company with a local mindset. So I stopped seeing myself as a Salvadorian company trying to survive. That mental shift changed everything. Within months, we started getting traction, like projects from the US, Brazil, Europe, and I realized that the internet had leveled up the playing field and it didn't matter where you were anymore, only what you were able to deliver. But let's be real, growing from a small country, not easy at all. Access to funding, limited. Mentorship, you have to figure it out yourself. Infrastructure, you have to build it. So here's what I learned. If you want something,
you have to build it yourself.
And in the process, I developed one of the most valuable superpowers that you can have as an entrepreneur. The ability to learn anything, anytime, by yourself. So growing up in a place where things are hard, you end up learning resilience, you learn creativity. I think that's what global companies actually need, that entrepreneurial spirit. People who can solve problems without waiting for the perfect conditions to make things happen. And that became part of our DNA at DC Nearshore. We exceed expectation. One of our drivers is over-delivery. Today, we have worked with clients from Silicon Valley to New York, from South America and Brazil to Europe, London. In 2023, I joined Forbes Technology Council, and also we have been named and recognized as top software development firms in the region. People ask me, what's the hardest part about building from a small country? And I always say, it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of mindset and belief. Because the moment you start believing that your work is valuable, believing in your talent, believing in your ideas, then you're ready to compete globally. Because in the moment you start believing in yourself, believing in your talent, that's when you're ready to compete in the global market. It's not about the size of your country, it's about the size of your vision. So if you're watching this from a small place and wondering if your dreams are too big, remember this. The world needs what you have to offer. It doesn't matter where you are from, what matters is what are you able and will to deliver. Hola, my name is Luis Madrid. I'm CEO and founder of DC Nearshore. We specialize in software development projects and also in staff augmentation services for engineering teams. So if you have a project or you have any need, please follow me and let's have a conversation about it.